My love, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. You must realize that the light is you.
Yeah, you awake? Wake up, you who sleep, and arise from the dead. And my Shayasha give you light.
Welcome, welcome.
He took me high on a mountain, told me look around. What I found was astounding. If I bow down, he can make anything happen, surpassing everything I could ever imagine. Flying first class, relaxing, living my passion, guaranteed satisfaction. High-end estates, cash and high fashion, high stakes, high class and high flashing, high life, lights, camera for action, the most fly.
Hey,
Said I'm destined to be just like the most high. So when they crown me king, I want the power it brings. Set my throne above everything. Got the world in the palm of my hand. Now raise your hands high, I'm in high demand. Yeah, if you don't know who I am, I'm the man. They got my head gassed up to the red line, believing that the world is mine, but it's all a lie. Said I'm not from this world, so I'm hoping I'm not throwing my pearls to swine.
I tell her this little light of mine, I gotta let it shine, shine, let it shine, let it shine.
You see this light, I'ma let it shine. I guess I was supposed to respect it and give a toast, but it wasn't what I expected.
Hey, Marty.
Truth approach, they rejected it. They
Carla.
mediocre at best, it's just they'll never accept it. We get affected by the time invested.
We're a few
You
minutes
think they
early.
blessed it? What they spitting is septic. Poison in the mind, they lies neglect what's already written. I'm rolling with the elect. You can check how they kicking it. They've been afflicted. Now we gotta move mountains to fix it. No doubt they going all out, man. I'm getting sick with how they try to reroute the ecliptic. Living in a time predicted, keeping it cryptic. They're passing it off for something to get with. I'd rather find a way around the elliptic and get this house in order before they find me evicted. Try to keep me gassed up all the way to the red line, believing that the world is mine, but it's all a lie. See, I'm not of this world, so I'm hoping I'm not throwing my pearls to swine.
Well, that is, well, you know, we haven't started yet, actually, technically, because we were supposed to start at exactly, 7:30. But I thought, you know what, since Amy said she didn't get no chocolate and no flowers, and, well, I don't do this no more anyway, so I figured, why not have a party? I guess some people just don't like partying. I don't either, actually, but this was a good day to do it, right? Just to chill. I just wanted to say hey to everybody. And I know you got your chocolate and your flowers. I know everybody got something today, right? Well, today what we're going to talk about is exactly what the origins are for lubricant for this day. Okay, we have a lot of information that we're going to be covering. Not a bunch, but I mean, we'll be together for maybe like 30, 40 minutes. And I think that it's important for us to really talk about why we do what we do, why we celebrate what we celebrate, why do we get the chocolate going, and why do we go and get all the flowers, and what with inflation right now, why do we need to have all the hoopla? Why do you need to have it? Do you need it? Are you the type of person who requires that your honey bunch go out and spend a lot of money on you? Hey, Inger Norman, how are you? Are you that type of person where they just have to spend a boatload? Or are you more like a person who, not necessarily for this day, but throughout the year, you don't require much? I mean, me, I'm the type of person that's like, I like gifts of service, If I'm about to go outside, I think it's awesome that you may have, shoveled the snow a few minutes early before I get up to go out of the house. That type of stuff. Or, hey, Max Vision, how you doing? Irish guy. How's it going? I think I said, hey, William Craig. So, yeah, I mean, Carla, are you that type of person that requires like, Louboutin shoes or maybe a Hermes bag? Or are you just somebody who's just like thankful for whatever somebody gets you throughout the year? You know what I mean? I think they put so much of a big to do on a day like today. I think they do. I think they put a lot of pressure on a lot of people. And a lot of times that's not nice because a lot of people just don't have it, which is one reason why I think it's a good thing that most of us don't deal with the pagan type of holidays. And you know that it's a pagan type of holiday, right? Carla says, oh no, simple and thankful. Isn't that the best way to be though? That is the best way to be. Simple and thankful. Because you know what, I'm going to tell you something. Have you noticed that the people who really lose it a lot, who really can't take it when, bad things happen, are those that had a bunch of money? You know what I'm saying, CD? Daryl, hey. You know what I mean? Um, they had a whole lot of money, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, and they just can't handle it. They just can't take it. Um, but you know what? I think that's because your hope is not in the right direction. It's not in the right place. So tonight, we're going to look at the origins of Valentine's. We're going to look at the origins, and we're not going to get very deep, but we're going to look at the origins. We're going to look at why the chocolate. We're going to look at the inflation rate right now as it relates to the price of the flowers that everybody just has to go and get. And you know what? Such an opposite person. I would prefer you buy me a plant or buy me a little box of where not again, not on a day like today, but just in general, just get me a box of herbs, something with like maybe some thyme and basil and things like I can make my sauces even more savory, things that last. um, if you're going to give me some flowers, make sure they're in a pot. And speaking of flowers, even though this is going to be a weird segue, we are going to be together and we have decided on where it is. I'm waiting on one more phone call before I confirm that, but it will be at the end of May. And, or, I know this sounds weird because there's another place that I really, really like. And if I hear from them, it may be at the top of June. It'll be 2 days during the week. So that way it's inexpensive for everybody. But I always say I want to get together and hug your neck. You guys, especially on the Lockhart Perspective, you always hear me say, oh my goodness, I wish I could just hug your neck. Well, we're going to do that. Okay. We are going to do that. And we are going to have a good time. You'll finally get to hear me sing. Wow. 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 Yes. So we'll do some music. We're going to do some, we'll of course have time to speak, some speaking time, a meet and greet where we can all just get together and talk and, eat together and break bread and have a good time. And I'm really excited. I think it's going to be great. So for those of you who have already told me, where you live and where you are, I'm still taking names and numbers, as they say. I'm still looking at where everybody's from, but I'm pretty sure we already have the place, and we've got 2 locations. One we're hoping to hear back from tomorrow. You sing Whitney. All right, CD. All right, CD. CD says, I sing Whitney. I know that's right. So you guys will finally be able to hear me, and you'll finally be able to, we'll all be able to hug one another, and we'll all be able to really get together and read together and just worship and just have a good time, because I truly and honestly think that's what it's all about. But let's get into tonight. All right. Before I do that, I see some new people. Hey, Susan, how are you? How's it going? Olympic Mountains, Highway 101, Washington State. Okay, Maureen, hi. You've been single for so long that you find if I find a man, he better treat me like a queen. Oh, you're not joking. That's a good way to feel, honey. That is a good way to feel. Down south, yes, which is where it looks like that's definitely where we're headed. Yes, turmeric, Daryl. Yes, herbs. Exactly, exactly, absolutely. I tell my husband and the kids, I'm a wife every day. I'm your mother every day. Don't let the world tell you when to love on me. Aw, so sweet. So sweet. Ryan says, my girlfriend and I do not care about Valentine's Day. Oh, do you know that there are some people who will lose their lunch over it? Let me tell you something. Ironically, several years ago, I met my husband because his friend went to where I was working and was attempting to purchase his girlfriend a Valentine's gift. It was supposed to be a month ahead. So he was there at the end of December trying to get her a Valentine's gift. And so he was getting her a Fendi bag and a Fendi wallet. And he was really having agita because he could not figure out how to do both, because for him it was very expensive and she had really expensive taste. So as I was helping him and giving him some ideas and some pointers, I said to him, well, do you think maybe, since we're just, hey Lisa, how are you? Carlos, hey. Do you think, hey Marty, we done said hey to each other, girl, but I got to hit you again. Hey. I was telling him, well, you know what? I said, because you just had this other holiday, Christmas, and you say that her birthday is coming up as well. Because he was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's costing me all this money, and I don't know how to handle this. And oh my goodness, I don't want to let her know. I don't want to let her down. I said, why don't you just get her the one thing for her birthday, and then come back and get her the other thing for her Valentine's gift, since they did Valentine's. And so he said, man, you are a really nice lady and you really think sensibly. She's not going to do that. But I do have a friend that I can introduce you to. He said she wouldn't be happy with that. She wants the whole kit and caboodle. He said, I better not come in the house without both the handbag and the wallet. Oh well. And that's how she was. So all day pity party. Yeah, a lot of times. Let's see. I have Valentine's gifts. I have not dropped off yet. Not expected by them, so they won't know what they missed today. Yeah. There you go. So we do have a guest with us tonight, and he is here with us. And speaking of guests, you guys do not forget, tomorrow we are going to have, listen, we're taking this whole parasite thing on the road, and it's not about just the parasites. We're talking about different types of parasites. You can have parasites in your family. You can have parasites in your around you at work. Parasites don't necessarily have to be the things that claw onto your colon and suck away your life. No, tomorrow Dr. B is going to be here with us, and he is going to be a guest that we have all the time, right? A guest that we'll have all the time because he's funny. I like him. He makes me chuckle. And I think right now that's what we need. I think we need people to laugh and to chuckle and to think, just have good, happy thoughts. I think it's already enough stuff going on. And if we choose to keep our minds buried in all that stuff, oh, gee whiz, what will we be? Oh, I just don't know. I just don't. Joe Blow, whenever I hear someone talk about their birthday, I tell them to wish their mom happy birthday. Yes, she did all the work the day they were born. Very good, Joe Blow. I like that. I think Valentine's is kind of a pain and almost forced by society. Yes, I've celebrated V-Day in the past. I like things more spontaneous. Whenever one wishes to show love and appreciation to someone. Exactly. That's why I think that when you get caught up in those days, like the way they want you to do it, you either let her, going to spend too much money, or it's contrived. Don't do something for me because everybody else is doing it. Do it because you want to do it. How about that? How about that, Gregory? What do you think? The new parasites are called nano, and they are in our food, water, air, clothing, and make more like cosmetic injection soaps. Ooh, Gregory. Don't push the sofa, baby, because you push it into the desk and you'll unplug me. Okay? It's okay. You didn't mean any harm. Just don't touch anything else. All right. CD says, my mom loved when I sang Jesus Loves Me. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Yes. Well, okay, I've got a lot of tabs open. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to see a little small video clip. We're also going to look at how much them roses is costing y'all out there giving the roses. And I ain't bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying you could have done something else with that money. Yeah, but it's okay. If that's what they require, you did what was required. Isn't that right, Ronnie.d.Mann? Hello and welcome. I played your music at the very beginning, and it was a few minutes early. And so I just put that good old music on. How are you today, sir? I don't think he hears us. Okay, well, maybe he's getting his sound together. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and switch the screen out, and we're going to go directly to what we were going to look at here. Let's watch this video really quickly. I think it's very interesting. Now, this is a piece that is specifically a Creative Commons piece, so it is a piece that is reusable. We can reuse this. And while we reuse this piece, because it is Creative Commons, the part that's coming up right now, on the origins of Valentine's Day, we are simply using it to draw comparisons, to look at it for educational purposes. Okay? So here we go. The link will be down below in the description on how to get to this video.
Valentine's Day is a booming multi-million-dollar industry. Approximately 190 million Valentine's Day cards are sent each year. It is also the #1 holiday for florists, with more than 198 million roses produced yearly for it. But where did Valentine's Day originate, and how did cards, the heart symbol, and Cupid become associated with it? Isn't the day named after a Christian saint? Roman Emperor Claudius II imposed a ban on marriages because too many young men were dodging the military draft by getting married. A Christian priest named Valentinus ignored the ban and performed secret marriages. He was caught, which meant that he was imprisoned and sentenced to death. While awaiting execution, young lovers visited him with notes about how much better love is than war, the first Valentines. The execution occurred in 269 AD on February 14th. He was declared a saint shortly after his death. Another Valentinus was a priest jailed for helping Christians. During his stay, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter and sent her note signed, "From your Valentine." He was eventually beheaded. A third Valentinus was the Bishop of Terni, who was also martyred. Romans celebrated a holiday on February 14th to honor Juno Fructifier, queen of the Roman gods and goddesses, and on February 15th, they celebrated the feast of Lupercalia in honor of Lupercus, the Roman god who watched over shepherds and their flocks. The Lupercalia festival began with the sacrifice of 2 male goats and a dog. Next, 2 young patrician Luperci were led to the altar to be anointed on their foreheads with the sacrificial blood, which was wiped off the bloody knife with wool soaked in milk, after which they were expected to smile and laugh. The sacrificial feast followed, after which the Luperci cut thongs from the skins of the animals, dressed themselves in the skins of the sacrificed goats, and ran around the walls of the old Palatine city, with the thongs in their hands in 2 bands, striking girls and young women. This was supposed to ensure fertility, prevent sterility in women, and ease the pains of childbirth. As with most non-biblical customs found in the church today, Lupercalia was simply given a Christian-sounding name and adopted into the Universal Catholic Church. It was Pope Gelasius who in 496 AD changed the pagan holiday Lupercalia to St. Valentine's Day. Pope Gelasius took the stories of several Catholic Valentines and evolved them into one Saint Valentine. This day honors Nimrod, son of Cush, who was the great-grandson of Noah. Other names for Nimrod were Pan, Baal, Lupercus, and Santus, or Saint, hence St. Valentine's Day. The Encyclopedia Britannica indicates that Nimrod was also called Cupid. Nimrod was the original Valentine. It is said women lusted after him. The Romans called the festival the Lupercalia. This custom of exchanging valentines and all the other traditions in honor of Lupercus, the deified hero hunter of Rome, found its way into the church. This is how Valentine's Day came to be observed on the 14th of February. On that day, Nimrod's mother, Semiramis, was supposedly purified and made the first appearance as the mother and child. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments.
Okay, so here is the deal. Ronnie, how are you? It's so good to see you.
I'm well, thank you. It's always good to hang out with you.
You know what? Last year we had one of the best teachings that Ronnie did. All of his teachings are exceptional. But I wanted to ask you some questions. I hope that's okay. I have some other tabs open. Maybe I should go to those first because I know that your answers are going to be so awesome and detailed that I think everybody will not want to be bothered with the stuff that I'm going to have afterwards. So I do want to show one more video, and that is the price of the flowers right now. And I'm doing this because I just want everybody to see. Somebody said something very, very, wise. Hey, I don't think I need anything. I don't need any of those things. I just don't. And I agree. Let's see. Sorry to sound so paranoid, but Yah said, if we be overcomers, he had many things for you, and there would be believers he didn't know. What matters, the exploits. Okay, very good. We use Valentine's Day as a renewing of your commitment to Jesus Christ. Now, see, Carlos, I don't know about that. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Perhaps you can tell us more, because the way that I see it, and that's only based on history, right? It is a pagan holiday. And if that's okay, if somebody's a pagan, then obviously that's okay. But I'm glad you brought that topic up. And it's something to consider. So I know for me, I see it as a pagan holiday, but that's all good. Let me show you guys. Well, Ronnie, let me just ask you the question. I saw the passage that was used at the end of the video. How is this a representation of serving another God? It's just Valentine's Day. How is that another God?
Well, inadvertently, I mean, just to keep it simple, if you're listening to another voice other than what your Elohim has commanded you, as far as what his voice is saying to you, then you are, like I said, inadvertently worshiping that quote unquote God, point blank.
Wow. Okay. Because I was listening to that part and I was like, okay, so now we do get it, but we really took a big leap from dealing with the history of it and then going all the way to you worshiping another God. Is it also because of the fact that they said that the Lubricai were actually the quote unquote wolves, but they were quote unquote priests as well? How does that jive? How does that go together?
Luperci were definitely the Roman priests of the day that instituted the ritualisms of Lupercalia, and this is the thing: if you're not using the word ritual, just bear with me. We're just going to use that word colloquially, but if you're not participating in the rituals of Yah. And you're participating in another priest's rituals, then that should go ahead and tell you, a handful of things, right off the top.
And that is true. That is very true. Melinda Ann is in the house. Haven't seen you in a while, sister. It's great to see you. How are you? Rage Against the Machine is here. Marty Lauderdale said, Sir Ronnie, man, good to see you. She's happy to see you. We're all happy to see you. Joe Blow, you were 5 when that incident went on. Okay, thank you for that. There is Melinda Ann. How are you? How are you? My mom loved when I sang that song. Oh, I think I already pulled that for you. Okay, so I want to get into this because I know that last year we looked at this. And do you have anything you want to bring? Because I've got 4 tabs up. Or do you just want to comment on a couple of these?
Yeah, I'll comment on what you have.
Okay, cool beans. So let's go right here to showing this. Because I think that right now, at a time where, all of us are really, pinching pennies and trying to make sure that we have, the funds that we need to take care of our families, that it's sort of sad that you see a lot of people are spending a lot of money on things like this. And I just think that it's a very greedy time. I do. I think that a lot of times when you see, all the prices of stuff going up, up, up the ladder, and then, nobody has any regard for anybody else. I just think that they just lay it on thick when it comes to some of these holidays. So here we go. All right, here we are. Okay. Oh boy, I forgot. I better read this because we may not have permission to play the music. The National Retail Federation estimates that people will spend $24 billion this holiday. All right, and it also goes to say that's up from nearly $22 billion in 2021. What? I thought that was a pandemic time frame. On average, couples will spend $208 on their partner on February 14th. Those strawberries look good. And thanks to inflation, a dozen of roses are now 22%. That's what I wanted to look at. More expensive. So you're going to put yourself out for this. And chocolates. What sort of chocolates will cost you 9% more. That's not even the good chocolate. The good chocolate is over there at C's. The most popular items this year include candy, cards, and flowers. Okay. And I think that's about it. I think it's over. Yep, it's over. So here's the deal. You're spending a lot of money and you don't know why. And I had to mute that because I remembered that even though I'm doing a news story, that the person who put the music there, they may not have given permission for it to be used, which is why we had to do that. Hey, KG, how's it going? I found there to be many leaps with no further info. For example, how was Nimrod known as Cupid? How did it come to be that Pan, Baal, etc. all describe the same entity? Sincere questions. You want to take that one? That is a very good question. KG asks Ronnie.d.Mann.
Oh, you want me to go ahead and take that? Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about that is when you dive into the historical aspect of who's who and what's what, you'll begin to see that I'm not necessarily saying that Nimrod is Cupid. I'm not necessarily saying that Cupid is Nimrod.
Okay.
But what I am stating as far as referencing your question, your sincere question at that, is that when you look at the historical aspect, you see that there's different names for the same entity because there were different cultures and languages, and these different languages and cultures of these people, there's a particular quote unquote God, but that God is named another name in another culture. And, throughout the history, as you progress to, today, you see these ancient cultures celebrating or adoring or what have you, worshiping these various gods, but they are the same entity when you go down to the least common denominator. It's just, like I said, languages and cultures that attribute these name values.
Okay. So can you hear me? I hope so. Okay, so in different cultures, the different name values are really what we're looking at. And I think that's very important to note because remember, while we were looking at the Anunnaki as an example, because it is important. Hey, Regina, it's important to study a lot of different things, and we do. But remember, while we were looking at that, there are several different names, and then across the board, they mean different things. But you turn all the way back around, and of each culture, they end up meaning the same character or the same entity.
Right,
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So let's just illustrate that really briefly. Modern day English calls Jesus Jesus. 2,000 years ago in the land of Judea, they would have called him Yeshua. 400 or 500 years prior to that, they would have called him Yahweh Shah. You can take that same name and translate it into the English and you get Joshua. All of them are speaking on the same person, but I just said 4 different names. The thing is, if we take all those names and then we go into a time machine 1,000 years from now, these future people will see all these four names and they'll ask the very same question. How are all these different, names being spoken of the same entity? So, take that into consideration.
That makes good sense because I know that there are a lot of people that will either say Yahweh Shah. There are some who say Yahushua. There are some that will say Yahshua, Yeshua. There's lots of different ways. Can I breathe now, or do I have to hold my breath? Oh, what's the matter with the sweetie, with my baby? What's the matter, baby? Rage Against the Machine. Oh, here it is. Okay, nowadays you'll go to hell breathing wrong. I just got what you said. I saw it now. Got it. But you're absolutely right. So I never thought about it that way. And I think that's a great way to answer that because it does bring to your remembrance that, yeah, there are a lot of different ways that they refer to different names. And so
Right.
that's
And
a good
so
thing.
and so how you make the connection is you look at the attributes and the characteristics of each of these entities or deities and you match them up and then you can see what culture was worshiping what quote unquote god. And as far as the attributes and characteristics go, you can see the similarities and it's plain. Like I said, I don't like to say things without qualifying them.
Yeah.
So I don't have at my disposal the fine ins and outs of how Nimrod is actually Cupid. So I'm not going to say that. But when you look at it, you'll see that indeed that the similarities and the characteristics as far as the attributes are concerned um, are very much there and you can equivocate the two historically.
Well, KG goes on to further say, thank you for taking my question. I would love to go further into the etymology trail concerning the names given by different cultures. There is usually a similarity in their names. Very good. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hey,
Hey.
I did. I looked that up. Nimrod is considered Cupid.
Okay, and
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of articles on it.
Mm-hmm. See, there's
Hey,
a
and
lot of good articles.
and if I may say, as far as the thank you comment, it says that there is usually a similarity in names. This is very true as far as the etymological value is concerned. The difference is when we break away from the branches of the parent language. For example, when we're looking at a Semitic language, then yes, etymologically, all of the words, all of the names would have some type of similar basis based on the consonants. However, if you're taking that same name and you're looking at it from a Indo-European language branch, then it would have it wouldn't have an etymological relationship with another branch, type of language. However, all of the Indo-European languages where you see that name would have an etymological similarity. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I'm in here going, Saul! Saul! Yeah, I had to put my. Hey, Betty R, I'm in here. Saul! Okay, so Inger says, oh, first of all, KG says thank you. It's the first I've heard of this. Mind blown. Hang out a little bit longer with us, baby. You're going to have mind blown a whole lot. Inger Norman says, even some of us today have many names, and we are still ourselves the same person. I'm called Kathy by family, and I'm called Inger by some, and my husband calls me Kathleen, and my favorite of all is Grandma. Oh, I think that's so sweet. I totally agree with you on that one. Okay, so thank you. And then I'd rather hear love. I'd rather hear love is here. Aw, yeah. Well, you know what? Love is all around. You just have to reach up and reach out and grab it and take it and hold it real close to you. That's what you got to hold it and take it and then shake it. You gotta make it do what you want it to do. Love me. No, just joking. I'm just tripping. I'm tripping. Okay. All right. So we do have some more stuff here. And I know I'm going to put this out here. Let's just go to the next slide here that we're going to look at. Nothing heavy tonight, y'all. Nothing heavy. Nothing heavy. Here we are. Okay. No, I don't want to. I don't want to let y'all have that yet. Let me go here. Here. There we are. All right. Fabrielia. Doesn't it sound like... Okay, a time of purification. That's a trip. How can this be a time of purification? Well, let me just let you see. Let me let you know. Here's what they say. Now, of course, I don't concur that this is for me. And that's the one thing that you have to do. You got to take a little bit of it and put it with you. And then you got to take a little bit and go with it. Okay, no problem, Marty. No problem, baby. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so here we go. So this is learned religions, right? All right, the ancient Romans had a festival of nearly everything. For everything, they had a festival. And if you were a god, you almost always got your own holiday. Februus, for whom the month of February is named, was a god associated with both death and purification. In some writings, Februus is considered the same god as Fawn, because their holidays were celebrated so closely together. Now, I think this answers the very first question, because they gave holidays in the ancient Romans gave holidays to specific gods. All the gods basically had a day. Everybody, you get a holiday, you get a holiday. And it also goes based upon the Roman calendar. Ronnie, would you like to touch base on any of this, especially Vesta, the hearth goddess? How come they have everything has to do with? How can they have like multiple meanings, like like birth, and then or what is it called, fertility, then death, then purification, and why does it all remind you of the death, burial, and resurrection? Why does it all remind me of that?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say, please be respectful in the chat. That should be a given. But definitely, as far as certain things go, you're exiting out as far as what they're speaking on, Februalia. You're exiting out of the cold months and you're coming into the quote unquote spring months. So this is a death, burial, and resurrection type of event in and of itself. And they attribute such things through ritualistic mannerisms. And like this particular what article states, clearly there's a name in the Greek and Roman pantheons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a god for everything. There's a god for tying your shoes, and a god for brushing your teeth,
Me?
Things of this nature. So
Oh wow, a god for tying of the shoes. Are you kidding? I like it. I think it's funny. Okay. What do you have to add to that, Miss Rachel?
I was just thinking, one of those gods could come clean my bathroom for me.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to get in any trouble because Ronnie already reprimanded us about about messing with them. Okay, so in any case, I digress. But listen, I do want to play a little bit of what we dealt with last year for this very same topic. Is that okay with you guys? Are you guys all down for that? Because I know that I am. I want to play a little bit of Ronnie.d.Mann and what we talked about last year. And it was on one of our Sunday dinners. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on. We're not going to be before you long. Again, it's just for us to chill and relax with each other. That's it. And just to talk about some of this stuff. So let me pull this back here. Alrighty, I'll go here. Let's see how far up we have to go for this. Probably not too far. I'm going to share another screen. Okay. Alrighty. I hope you guys are able to share with us tomorrow. Make sure you guys come and be with us tomorrow while we welcome Mr. Dr. B. We're just having a good time talking about parasites. I mean, I got a couple of family members I love, but they just remind me.
it's beautiful, but on the inside is bones and mold and mildew, and
That's what we're looking at right now when we consider the whole. I mean, we saw some. I'm sorry, just to piggyback in this conversation. I think it's very yeah, or anything that's
teachings, and he tells you flat out. He says, "Look, man, you have all these traditions that you do, and you're washing the outside of the cup. You're washing the outside of the cup, and you're doing all of these things like it. You're doing all these things like it, and in the process of keeping with the traditions of man, you are nullifying. You are null and void. You are making null and void the commandments of the Most High." And he uses this rhetoric often. He says, you are whitewashed tombs. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful, nice tomb. It's all whitewashed and got the plaster on it, and it's beautiful. But on the inside is bones and mold and mildew and corruption and death. It's the same thing of that outside of that cup. It's the same thing as we're making it Valentine's Day. That's.
You want to chat with us about that, Ronnie? Tell us what you're talking about right there.
Well, I mean, in a nutshell, you can definitely, when I was listening to that, Matthew 12 came to mind, where he tells us, now listen to this. So, from based off of, and do your own research as well, but based off of that video that you presented at the beginning, where it was talking about even tracing back to Babylon, even, but definitely these are Roman concepts, or they were perpetuated on a mass scale via Rome. But when you look at it, it is of what they would call quote unquote pagan origins. Matthew 12 clearly comes to mind when it says that, I'm paraphrasing, that if a tree is good, then it will bear good fruit. And a good tree always produces good fruit. And a bad tree always produces bad fruit. So, inadvertently, understand what I'm getting at here. A bad tree will not produce good fruit. So if it starts off bad, it is bad. You can't repurpose it and clean it up and then perpetuate it, thrust it into the future as something
other than what it is,
positive, because the roots and the foundation and its DNA is inherently, I'll use the word, quote unquote pagan. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no way around that. So people can say, "Oh yeah, but we don't treat it as such, or we don't look at it like that, and we utilize this day as this, that, and the third." But once again, a bad tree will always produce bad fruit.
You know what? That is so true.
Never change it.
That is so true.
Matthew 12, what I'm speaking on are the words of Yahushua himself. Like, I'm not making this concept up, or this precept for that matter. I'm not making this up. I'm clearly stating what we all profess to believe as far as the scriptures are concerned.
Absolutely. I got the scripture right here. So Matthew 12, where are you on Matthew 12?
Oh, I was paraphrasing.
Yeah, let's get it.
I don't know.
The Lord of the Sabbath. Okay. The time that Yahushua went up on the Sabbath through the corn, and his disciples were hungered and begged to pluck the ears of corn. And the Pharisees saw it and said unto him, Behold, la da da. Oh, Shanana, for the Son of Man. Okay, Jesus heals on the Sabbath. Okay, Yah's chosen servant. But when Yahushua knew it, he withdrew himself from thence, and the great multitudes followed. Shanana.
All right, go to 33.
Okay. All right, there you go. Either make, oh, there you go. All right, either make the tree good and his fruits good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by his fruit. O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh, and a good man out of good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. And an evil man out of an evil heart, well, his heart having raggedy treasures in it. Okay, he gonna speak evil things. But I say unto you that every word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Very good
Absolutely.
point. Very good
Absolutely.
point.
So these things are either going to make you or break you in the last day, because we're going to be held accountable for everything that we have said. And a coupling verse would be Luke 6:43. While you were speaking, I was looking it up. Luke 6:43 blatantly tells you it's the same concept in from where Yahweh Shai is speaking the precept. Luke 6:43 says, "No good tree bears bad fruit, nor does a bad tree bear good fruit." I mean, you can't get any more plainly than this.
Very good.
For a good tree brings not forth corrupt fruit, neither does a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So it's impossible. It can't be done. You can't dress it up. It still stinks on the inside.
So we can't Christianize pagan holidays, in other words.
So you can't quote unquote Christianize quote unquote pagan holidays. Absolutely, that like you can't do it.
Wow.
And when you find out that these holidays are pagan and you still do them, you heap coals of fire on your head.
Well, you don't have to present that in a question form. You can present that in statement form. You can say that again in statement form. Absolutely.
You heap judgment on yourself when you find out that they're pagan.
Okay, so it's like
And
you
still
find out
continue
that
to
it's
do 'em.
pagan. And you still continue to do it. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because I told you guys about my grandchildren that I raised, and that my son said, "Yes, Susan." My son says to me, "Let those kids have." Have Christmas. And I was like, no. He's like, but we had Christmas. I said, yeah, but that was because I did not know and I didn't understand. No, you should sing, CD. Sing, baby, sing. Sing, I sing because I'm happy. Sing, baby, sing. Um, so my point is, I said, no, we don't do that. And now that I have that understanding, we're not doing that. And he had me cracking up because, like I told you guys, as soon as it came down to him having some, I spent $300 and some on my family, and I spent this on this one and that on that one. He called me about 2 weeks later. He say, "Can I get $5?" I said, "You need to ask Santa. Take some of that stuff back." You need to ask Santa or take some of that stuff back. Either way it goes. Listen, you guys, we have had a good time. We just wanted to touch base a little bit, touch on the whole idea of Valentine's, and just be together, because I know that for the most part, most of us don't do it. And it's nothing wrong with you if you do it, because you ain't at that place yet. But I will tell you that once you become aware of it, and once you do become privy to what the truth is, you're not going to want to do it anymore. Go into the story really quickly about the pieces of the flesh of the dogs and how they would take, was it dogs and horses? Let me get into that. It was dogs or something. I wanted to show that to you really, really quickly.
It was strips of flesh from goats and dogs, and it was a purification ritual in which they purified. Why did they purify this? In this sense, they were. What's interesting is the dog's flesh is what purifies you.
Whoa.
That's interesting in and of itself. It's the
Yikes.
dog's flesh
Yikes.
that purifies you.
Do the
And
dog catch a baby? Do the dog
so,
catch
what
a...
are you getting purified for? You're getting purified for being fertile, and so they dip it in milk, and it's already soaked in the blood of these animals. That milk and that blood is representative of you know certain things, certain things that make babies. So,
Oh, that's right, fertility. And that's why I always think it's so amazing to me how everything has something to do with fertility. But nonetheless, we've had a good time tonight just chit-chatting and talking. I don't want to hold you guys too long because I want you all to be able to join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Central Time, as we welcome my guest. And we're going to be doing, he and I are going to be together, just like Ronnie and I are going to be are together quite often. Because we just want to have a good time. We want to talk about all the different parasites. You got some grown kids that's still at the house that you've been begging to leave, and you know they can afford to go. There's a parasite. Hey. See how interchangeable it is.
And don't be eating when you listen to Mr. or Dr. B.
No.
You won't want to be eating whatever you're eating.
Not at all. It'll all come out. Or you'll be like, oh, really? But the deal is if you got any kids that you know they got to go and you love them and they grown. See, I tell all my kids that are over 30 that they're middle-aged. And they're like, what do you mean I'm middle-aged? I only have one left to go, and he's still here. And I'm like, please go. Please leave. Follow your other brothers and your sister. Scram. Go. Find somebody. She's nice. Don't you want to marry her? Don't you want to date her? I'm like playing the yenta now. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about parasites, how to identify them in your life, what to do, how to get your strength back so that you can stand up to them. And that'll be tomorrow. They are everywhere, Gloria. That's right, girlfriend. They are everywhere. Hello to your husband, Rachel. You tell him hello. Hello to Sonia. Ronnie, you tell her hello. And we're about to get out of here, you guys. I want you all to remember what we always say. That man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. I want you guys to continue to take care of yourselves, okay? And then I also want you to remember to take care of everybody else around you. Until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed, okay? Bye-bye. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you